Hello and welcome to the Malika Writes channel. My name is Malika Writes and today we are going to be discussing Love in the Corpse Bride by Tim Burton. So I'm sort of dressed a little bit more gothically than I usually would because we're going to be talking about Tim Burton, who is famous for his gothic themes. So in The Corpse Bride, one of the reasons why I love this movie, and I'm going to give a quick rundown of the movie for those of you who have never watched it, spoiler alert, it's about a woman who is dead and she desperately wants to be married. So a guy who's engaged to a woman he does not know wanders into the woods and she sort of snatches him to the land of the dead. They have their back and forth. He tries to get back to the land of the living. She gets upset. They bond and he decides he's going to marry the dead woman. She finally learns what love is like and she decides to let him go, all the while getting revenge on the man who killed her. Basic rundown of the story. So, in The Corpse Bride, I think the portrayal of love is well done. It starts off with this not less than ideal scenario. You know, we have two people who have never met each other before. They're getting married in order to sort of save their families. There's a lot of miscommunication because the families, they sort of think that they're going to be benefiting from each other, and it's a really disingenuous situation. So we have Victor, who's meeting his fiancée, and he gets dragged to the underworld after he recites his vows in the woods, and Sally, the corpse bride, hears them and says, "Wow, I really like these vows." "I do," and she drags him to the underworld. So there's obviously mythological implications, and I'm probably going to do a video about the mythical implications of that whole dragging the man to the underworld and why I think that Persephone should have been, why I think the personification of the underworld should be a woman, but we're going to talk about that in another video. In this video, I just want to talk about love and how it was portrayed in this movie. So we start off with a less than ideal situation. We have a meeting that is accidental. It's full of confusion. The movie tries to move us through by trying to clear up some of this confusion. We have the miscommunication between the two that builds the tension because Victor's trying to get back to his fiancée and Sally really wants to be a bride. She wants to get married and Victor doesn't want to marry her. Those vows, he said in the woods, were not for her. I think in the chaos of life, this is where love usually finds itself. We are never going to be in a perfect situation. I think you can try and get yourself as ready as you can, but it's very, very difficult to be in a perfect space for love to happen. And it's usually in the chaos of life that we find romance. And this is the perfect scenario. It's a chaotic situation and love is in the air. And I think the confusion and the lack of communication, it's not just effective as driving, as a plot device to, you know, drive it forward. It's also realistic. This is, a lot of people don't communicate. This is why relationship coaches are constantly going on about communication. You would think we'd have gotten it by now, but apparently not. And communication is a very, very important part of a relationship. Oftentimes, people have to go through something in order to realize that communication is key. And that's what happens in the story. I think it's stuck true to very real relationships. So, moving forward from all this miscommunication, we have a moment where the two play a duet on the piano, and it's this romantic moment. We think finally they're coming together. You know, the air is clear. Basically, the bomb has gone off and the dust has settled, and they have decided they're going to get married. Victor has come to know Sally. He's come to almost fall in love with her, or begin to fall in love with her. I don't think he was very deeply in love with her, but I think he got to a point where he had a real affection for this corpse bride, and she obviously has a very strong affection for him as well. I really liked the way that the communication was. They kind of used the duet to show this coming together moment, and this little soft and affectionate moment between the two. That's really expressive of the kind of people that they are, because we have, during the duet, Sally's finger runs off and keeps playing playing a particular note. You know, that is really reflective of her tendency to sort of run away with things. I mean, she hears the vows in the woods and she runs away with it thinking, oh no, this is my husband. It's that infatuation stage, and I really loved that they they showed that in the movie, because a lot of us mistake attraction and infatuation for love, which it is the very opposite. It is just lust, because it has nothing to do with the other person. It's more about what we need from the person. It's more about how that person makes us feel, how they gratify us. It has nothing to do with the self-interest of the person. So after this, all the miscommunication has sort of cleared up, and we come to the bit where they're going to get married finally. This is where we have the true expression of love from Sally, because she realizes that they come from two completely different worlds. I mean, he's living and she's dead. And at the wedding, he's supposed to drink this potion that will kill him, so they can be together forever. And his fiancée sort of comes to the wedding, and Sally realizes that in order to truly love someone, you have to think of their interest. Love is not selfish, it's selfless. When we talk about self-love, we mean doing something in the best interest of yourself. That means, that could be eating vegetables over junk food. Junk food may taste nice right now and it may gratify your flesh now, but it's bad for you in the long run. So self-love would be choosing what is good for you in the long run, even if it doesn't feel great right now. It means being disciplined, self-controlled, and having self-respect. It means being principled, and that's what love is. Hollywood has portrayed love as this really airy-fairy feeling. You fall into it. It's bigger than both of us kind of dynamic, which is very false, and adults will tell you that's false, because that's just not how love works. Love isn't this feeling, this disease that you catch in the air. It's not miasma, you know. Love is disciplined. Love is willing to commit. Love is willing to act in the best interest of the other person. That's why relationships that are one-sided never work, because if one person is acting in the best interest of the other person, and the partner is acting in their own best interest without considering the other person, it's a very one-sided relation. It's not really even a relationship, it's just a one-sided affair. So what we see in the final scenes of The Corpse Bride is Sally realizing that in order to truly love, you know, the man she wants to marry, she has to let him go. And I think this is a really good message for a lot of people, because sometimes in order to love someone, we have to let them go. Sometimes we are just not the best fit for the other person, and to truly love somebody means to let them, to act in their best interest, and her letting him go is acting in his best interest. He still has a long life to live. You know, she's dead, and unfortunately she doesn't get what she wants, but that's love. That's acting in the best interest of someone else. That's really actually caring about someone else. And in our culture today, love isn't, or real love, I don't even like saying real love, because love is love, but love is not selfish. It's not looking at oneself as better than everyone else, or looking at oneself as a savior, or thinking about me all the time. And I think that the movie portrays this very well, because we see the stages of their relationship. We go through the infatuation, we go through the miscommunication, and then we get to love. and I loved that about the movie. I've said a lot in this video, but I really did like that about the movie. And I hope that maybe you'll give this movie a watch after this and sort of see where I'm coming from with this. And if you agree, let me know. If you don't agree, let me know as well. We can always have a discussion in the comment section. This is basically the end of the video. I hope you like it. I hope you liked it. And yeah, I should really end this video now. But thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you have a lovely day. And this has been the Malika Writes channel.